Hey, and welcome to episode 362 of the All You Can Hear podcast. My name is Wenzel, and I am joined by my transforming co-host.
It's me, Optimus Shart Colt Prime.
Oh my god, it's the 14th Prime.
That's right. I demand you kill that man now. Kill him. Blow him up with C4.
Wait a minute. I don't know if I don't know
I'm
if
a
that's
Prime. You have to do this.
I don't know if that's something our Prime would say.
What are you, a pussy?
I
I just transformed into a big pile of shart, which is like it's liquid in chunks. Step in me, I dare you, motherfucker. I'm like acid. But yeah. Why are we talking about Transformers?
Okay, just so you know, whenever you said you just turned into a big piece of shart, I just spat all over my fucking computer.
I am the Optimus Shart, or Optimus Colt Shart Prime. That's my name, full name, birth name.
Yeah. So, okay. So this week, we're going to be talking about the most recent animated film. Is Transformers 1. We actually got to go to an early access event for it. It was on September 14th, which is Saturday, which is yesterday as the time we are recording. It's going to officially release on the 20th of September. But so we got to see it early, and we're going to be talking about it. You know, this is another film review and discussion. And
Yeah, Transformers is back. When we first saw this trailer, it was forever ago. The first trailer made it look not the greatest, I'll say that. But I think it was by the second or third trailer, they finally kicked it in. I want to say it was the third one. Because the action in it from the Lita and the Arachnid, or Arachnia? Arachnid. Really sold me on it, just seeing them fly through windows and shit.
God, I hate that name, Arachnid. I get it's a pun, but like, it's probably my least favorite Transformers name.
Isn't there a name Arachnid?
What?
Isn't there one named Arachnid?
No.
Oh,
there is a black Arachnia, which I kind of thought that's who that was gonna be or something. I don't know if anybody's like has seen the most recent Transformers stuff. If Arachnid's a common character, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's the introduction of drones.
Yeah, kind of. No, I don't know what Colt's talking about. When the first trailer for Transformers 1 came out, I was hyped as hell.
I was excited it was a Transformers thing, but at the same time, it looked cheesy, and the jokes didn't look like they would be great.
Fair. I mean, honestly, with all the trailers, I thought the jokes were going to be very cheesy. That was something I was worried about personally. But we'll get into that more later. But for right now, let's go into some details about this movie. So this is actually
spoilers, by the way, which really, if you know Transformers, there's not much to spoil here.
No, not really. If you know anything about Transformers, I mean, you kind of know where you know where this is heading. There is like so this is like a mashup of a lot of the origins of Cybertron, of Optimus Prime and Megatron. So it's not necessarily like based off of one thing. There is the bigger notes that are here. But yeah, it's if you know Transformers, you kind of know where this is heading. But for the most part, this is an original story. This is the first animated Transformers feature film since the 1986 film, which is why, like I said, when the first trailer came out, I was super hyped because I kept thinking, this has to be the first animated Transformers film for several decades, and yeah,
I was
it's
reminded of that because when we first got to the theater, the guy next to me says, "They better not fuck this up. They better not fuck this up." He just kept saying that over and over again. Like, yeah, yeah.
no,
And when the movie ended, the guy was like, "They didn't fuck it up. They made the first good Transformers movie in 40 years."
God
It
damn.
was it was like a 50, 60-year-old man really happy with Transformers. So I guess that's a good thing, but at the same time, I feel like he would have talked that way to a child. If a child next to him was like, "They better not fuck this up. I'm gonna be so mad if they fuck up Transformers." And there's just a 12-year-old sitting next to him like, "I like Optimus Prime."
Okay, yeah, I guess we should talk about our theater experience really quick. I will mention that. So like I said, this is like an early access event. I did not expect for it to be so full. Um, because when I was reserving this on the AMC app, it's a bigger theater, so there were only really a few seats taken up. There was another theater that I really wanted us to get seats for, but it was almost full by the time I could reserve seats. So I was like, okay, shit. But this should be fine. It's a bigger theater. It probably won't be as packed. Oh no! Like by the time we were like by the start of the film, there was every seat was packed pretty much. There were people still coming in, but yeah, it was crazy. Mostly children, but to our very pleasant surprise, the children were pretty quiet for the movie.
Yeah,
Um,
weirdly respectful, which is very rare. I guess it's because the people coming to an early screening of Transformers are more than likely nerdy people, so I guess they actually parented their kids.
yeah. So hell yeah, good parents. There was also a baby in the front row. Once the movie started, he was fucking hooked. He he was like this. He's like, I love this. Whatever this is, I love it. This was
Yeah, the
his movie.
baby was screaming before the movie started, but as soon as like Optimus Prime and Megatron were doing buddy shit, he shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and it was so funny because now, so eh, I don't know if this is at any other theater. I assume it's AMC theaters, but for those who know or don't know, um, there has been a new ad that has been
Oh
added
god.
to not only the trailers and the ads that we get from AMC advertising itself, but there is a 5-minute Walmart ad that they show. I would hope before the movie starts, but it always goes not only past the time, but it adds so much. It's a Walmart ad, and it's God, I hate it. I hate it so much.
It
I
this I don't know why. We've only seen it 3 times, man. We saw it at Beetlejuice, Dan to Dan, and then this. What the
um
fuck?
so it's gonna be a staple now, and I'm not particularly thrilled about that. Um, it also
Even
has
people in the audience are like, "God, this is really going on, huh?"
No, it was funny because every time it's new. Like I said, it's brand new. So people who are just now coming to the theaters, um, I think like Colt said, it started with Beetlejuice. Who are just now coming to the theaters. They're gonna start seeing this, um, and it's always funny to hear everybody's responses because I turn to Cole and I'm like, oh my god, these people don't know about this ad now. Ad, so and they're like, oh wow, like it's really long, and then it's like, oh my god, it's really long. It's just literally advertising back to school clothes for Walmart, and it is a dance number that starts. Well, at first it's this whole thing with if anybody knows the TikTok star Cat. I can't remember her last name, but she was her and her husband were like big on TikTok, and then she got a divorce from him. So now she's kind of like a solo career, I guess. A
Tell
solo
me
thing.
about like her family too.
I don't know.
Hey, give me some details like how many kids she got. Is her mom still alive? Is her dad alive?
Well,
Grandma,
okay.
grandpa?
I will say she does have one kid. That was
I
also
was
the big.
joking. This is a joke. We don't have to know shit about this woman.
Well, no, I to explain why she's a TikTok star, kind of. That was also the thing is her husband and her kid. Um,
She's in
but yeah,
Transformers too.
no, she's not. Thank God. Um, well, that's not really a stab at her, but anyway, yeah. So it's that, and then it goes into a dance number starting from the hallways of the school, it, and through the classrooms, cafeteria, then ending in the playground. Um, yeah,
It lasts so fucking long. And the very beginning is like, ah, ha, ha, the kid's slang. The little girl says, "You are so not Ohio Riz or no cap," something like that. It's something that doesn't even make sense, even for people that know the slang. It's like, it's something. It's, I don't know who made this, why they released it so late, because it's one of those back to school ads.
yeah. Uh, I don't like that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It came out for Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice, September. So why are we getting a back to school ad in September? Kids are in school. They already hate it. What more do we need? Very, very strange. But
Hopefully
yeah,
we don't see it that much more. Fuck it, school has been back. Please just go ahead and rotate this out, unless you say, "Oh, we're bringing the Halloween for school," and just put like a spooky filter with bats.
no.
That would piss me off.
The thing is, Cole, I am not hopeful. If they are showing this now and it's an ad, they probably got a long slot for this.
I'm gonna cry.
I mean, I'm warning you right now. We're probably going to get it for before every movie, either for the rest of the year or maybe even longer. So go ahead and go ahead and
That was an accident. I didn't mean to do that.
bunker down. Hunker down, bunker down. I don't know that phrase.
Oh yeah, and one more thing before we get into the movie. The trailers, two of these fucking trailers look like straight to DVD movies from 2010. They looked like absolute horse shit.
It looks so bad.
There was like Hit Pig, which just looks, at first I was like, this reminds me of Hoodwinked with how bad the animation is. And then the second movie came around and it looks even closer to Hoodwinked because the animation was worse. I don't know what the fuck they're doing there.
It's so I so the other film is about like a cat and a dog trying to find their way back to their owner or some shit. I don't know. Very jarring with how loud the voice actors are and the animation. It's no, it sucks. It made me very sad.
And then they immediately follow it up with the newest My Hero movie trailer, which is a huge question mark because of all the trailers they showed, this is the one that stood out the most. The other trailers were like I told Wenzel this like for like 6-year-olds, and then My Hero, when I think of it, I think of like teen and older.
Yeah, because these are they're teenagers risking their lives, and there's blood, sometimes even gore with yeah, no, it was so weird. You could also hear people audibly be like, "Oh," when it popped up because it made no sense. And then at the very end of the trailer, there's there's Deku screaming, and it's it's very impactful. I like, again, I love the voice acting, and I think whoever does the voice acting for Deku is incredible. So
Japanese, by the way.
especially that that specific moment right there is so loud, and him screaming, and I was like if any probably the parents here who just brought their kids to a Transformer thing who aren't familiar with anime are probably like scared because they're like, why is this trailer screaming at me, even though it's Deku saying that we're gonna save everybody.
I think they should say fuck it and just throw in trailers for like Smile 2 for these movies that are obviously for kids.
Yeah, well, that, and I was telling Cole this. That's what bothered me with the My Hero trailers, because I love the My Hero trailer. I welcome any trailer, but the thing is they, since something is animated, they assume that it's meant for kids. So if it's animated, that it's meant for kids, and then we'll just throw it up on in front of an animated film. Like, no, you don't do that. Are we stupid? It's 2024. Like, are we really this stupid still? Like, no, no, no. Go ahead, go ahead. Why don't you put in the trailer for Mars Express in front of this, where a woman gets cut in half, or somebody gets the shit beaten out of them. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Or I don't know, what's another traumatizing animated film?
Yeah, Grave of the Fireflies, but they already do that for kids' films.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of another brutal animated film.
Jinro.
That's yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
show him Jinro. Show him the scene of like the sewer of the guy unloading his fucking gun on all the other guys.
Yeah, go ahead and do that for us.
Or the Akira helicopter shooting the guy in the street scene where he gets ripped to shreds.
Or the mind game scene where okay, well, I don't want to spoil anything. Well, no, the mind game scene where the guy gets a gun put up his ass. Yeah, how about that?
Hey, it's for kids.
Yeah, it's animated. So, yeah. But yeah, no, good theater experience. But I was gonna say this though for the Walmart ad, the baby. Once the Walmart ad was over, the baby was laughing and jumping. So that baby loved that Walmart ad.
Hey, they fucking found their audience.
They found their audience. Just that one baby. But yeah. So I guess let's get into Transformers. So first off, this film focuses on the origins and early relationship of Optimus Prime and Megatron, and how they forever changed the fate of Cybertron, the home planet of the Transformers. This is directed by Josh Cooley, who is an ex-Pixar animator. He directed Toy Story 4. The story is written by Andrew Barr and Gabriel Ferrari.
Meow.
The animation production is done by Industrial Light and Magic.
That's a familiar name. What have they done?
So that is the animation studio, or the effects animation, animation studio created by George Lucas. He created that for the original Star Wars trilogy, and they did the animation for all of the 6 live action Transformer films.
Oh, okay. They've got some history here. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this was new for them, but that's a big change. So the voice cast is Chris Hemsworth as Orion Pax, Optimus Prime, Brian Tyree Henry as D16, aka Megatron, Scarlett Johansson as Alita 1, Keegan Michael Key as B127, aka Bumblebee, Steve Buscemi as Starscream, Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion, and John Hamm as Sentinel Prime, and then Vanessa Lugori as Arachnid. We also do have some more smaller voices. Isaac C. Singleton Jr. as Darkwing, Jason Konopisos Alvarez as Shockwave, John Bailey as Soundwave, and Evan Michael Lee as Jazz. There are some other roles for this, but those are the main ones.
Yeah, I will say before seeing this movie, I had never heard of Alita 1. This was my first introduction to her, so it just felt weird for her to be, I guess, part of the original squad of 4.
Yeah, you say that. I know for those who have watched the original Transformers or a lot of the origin stories for Optimus Prime, Alita's always there, kind of at the beginning. I told Colt this because it's been so long since I watched Transformers. I had thought that Alita 1 would become RC for some reason.
I thought Alita 1 was RC until you told me on the ride there.
Yeah, it's just been so long because I've seen the original Optimus Prime origin, so I know like about Orion Pax. I just couldn't remember Alita 1. I think she had a name before Alita 1 though. I can look that up pretty quick.
I think it's just Alita 1 because I'm looking at the wiki.
Okay.
Oh, she was named Ariel.
Ariel, that's what it was. Yeah.
That's a strange name for someone that's not a flying vehicle.
um, yeah. So, uh, yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure she had a name. It started with an A, and yeah, it was Ariel, and then she becomes Elita 1, and of course, Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime.
Oh,
But
I'm looking at her OG design. What the fuck? She's got a robot ponytail. This is weird.
dude, the OG, the OG bots, they were very human before they become the Autobots and Decepticons that we know.
Yeah.
I guess there is a differentiation there, like between like I guess civilian bots and the other factions. So there's that.
I'm on the fuck her wiki page right now. It's showing like a history of this character. And it's Optimus Prime like interfacing with her. I think it's like healing her, or maybe like I don't know, accessing her. I don't know. I haven't seen this, but the text below it says "Wow, chicka bow bow, chicka chicka."
Okay, I know
Can
what
someone
you're on.
explain that?
Yeah, so that wiki, they always have like a bunch of goofs and stuff for like the images or for the characters or whatever. That's the wiki that I used to look at when I was a kid, and I was so confused.
Yeah, this is fun. You know what? Fuck the official wiki. This is it.
but but yeah, this was something Cooley talked about in terms of the writing. They said Cooley said it was important to show that Megatron was not just a villain. He wanted people who had no knowledge of Transformers to come into the film and not be able to immediately pick up who is going to be good or bad, which is funny. Again,
I don't feel like that's possible.
I don't feel like that's possible. He took inspiration from several famous brothers turned enemy stories from across pulp culture when crafting the arc. An original idea for the film was to depict Megatron as a gladiator and have him and Optimus Prime come from different backgrounds. But due to runtime constraints, that idea was scrapped in favor of having the two be bunkmates working as miners instead. So that was the original. A lot of the original origins for Megatron was him being a gladiator. Um, something too. So I've seen this in so many reviews talking about this movie, and a lot of the stuff surrounding it is as there. It says right here. I'm getting this all from Wikipedia, by the way. As there are no human characters in Transformers 1 as they are in previous films in the franchise, Cooley and the team aimed to inject more comedy and humanity into the Transformers themselves. They wanted to make sure that the characters had enough humor and emotion to carry the story on their own.
I
Which
mean, they're intelligent life. I imagine they would have their own humor.
which that's the thing is like don't get me wrong, making them human that's understandable because these are our so we created these things, so of course we're going to make them like us. But at the same time, it's always so funny because I always talk about there's no humans in here. Like, is it going to be really that? It's going to be tough to market this film without any humans, or people talking about how like there was no human story. I hope we get a human story in the next Transformers movie or something. Like,
No one's ever said that.
I keep seeing this, and I'm like, okay, but you say that, but I people are saying this, which I don't
That's
understand.
insane. You're here for the
I've
Transformers.
I
Nobody
have
wants a human. Like normal people don't want humans.
like I have never cared about any of the human characters in any of the films or in the original show. The human characters were just kind of there. They were just a bunch of who like whatever, you know?
I
And
will say
then
I did like Shia LaBeouf's character in the live actions when I was a little kid. I was a big fan of the humor with him.
okay, well Shia LaBeouf's an idiot, so I understand. but like but that's the thing. And then a lot of the other a lot of the other Transformer stuff, they don't all have humans in them. I mean, it just
Even
I don't.
original, the only human section we have is like them and a tiny little robot.
Well, yeah, well, no, the show has a lot of human stuff in it, but it's never really consequential. It's never anything huge. It's just kind of like oh, the government, grr, grr, and the Decepticons are like, oh, grr, we want to defeat. I don't know. It's never really anything big. It's just kind of like it's just like whatever. Like who fucking cares? Like I care more about what's going on with the Transformers. I don't care about the human shit. Like because it's like a it's kind of like a lot of the human stuff is there's never really anything like specifically named. It's just kind of like a very kind of smoothed out depiction of current society on Earth at the time. Like it's never really given to any leaning one way or the other, making, but also too, it is kind of it's weird. It's never, like I said, it doesn't really matter, you know. Uh, anyway, no, I don't understand. There's been also too, there's been so much stuff that hasn't had humans in it that's been completely just fine. So I don't understand why they feel such a powerful need. Like I don't I don't connect humans with Transformers. I connect Transformers with Transformers. So I don't fucking care. Like I just think that's so stupid. Like we just won't relate to them. We just can't relate to them. They're aliens. They're Transformers. We don't understand them. We don't know them. It's like who? Oh my god! Like who fucking cares? Uh, can you not? Can you not think of anything else? Anybody else? Holy shit. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, and then kind of go into some more details here. This is also Hemsworth's first animated feature film. I don't. He made efforts not to use his regular speaking voice for Optimus Prime, which you can definitely tell. But I was. They also said too that they wanted to respect the original voice actor Peter Cullen performance, but they didn't want to bring him back to ensure that the audience felt Optimus Prime's youth. Which is why they casted Hemsworth. Also, too, the reason why they casted so many of these big names was because they wanted to kind of have the same. They wanted to have a voice cast just as impressive as the original animated Transformers film. So that's why they got all these big names.
They even got Orson Welles back for this.
No, they don't.
Oh man!
Don't lie to him. But yeah, no. And then they also too or requested that Key stay close to his regular speaking voice for Bumblebee. Also, too, an original song for the film was made called "If I Fall," written by Brian Tyler, who Brian Tyler does the soundtrack for this movie. It was performed by Quavo and Ty Dolla $ign, and then there was also another original song, "Together as One," directed by DJ and producer Excision.
Not necessarily music for me, but that doesn't matter because everything else was awesome.
I didn't care for that music. Yeah, because they had one of these songs. I don't know which one for the end credits. I was like, whoa. Also, too,
yeah, it didn't sound great.
This movie too was originally supposed to be released on July 19th, but it got pushed to September. But then it got delayed by a week because they didn't want to compete with Beetlejuice.
I think that was a good decision.
Yeah, I think it was too. Yeah, and then in terms of the future of the film, they did mention how back in April they wanted to make this a trilogy of films. They had confirmed that the story is mapped out to progress over 3 films, with the progression of each of the characters.
Oh, so these are canon to the Michael Bay movies?
So I'm reading here, detailing the progression of the characters into their depiction in the live action film series. Okay. I don't know about that. That's weird. They also said too that they want to transition Hemsworth's voice to Peter Cullen's.
Peter Cullen is he's 83 years old, guys.
The thing, okay, so I was telling this to Colt because it was weird. Chris Hemsworth's voice for this was very weird. At times it was fine, but at times it was like he was trying very hard. He just sounded at times like Thor, kind of.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't really care for it. I will say, whenever in the original show he was Orion Pax, he had a younger voice, but then whenever he gets injured and has to change into Optimus Prime, he gets the Peter Cullen's voice. I wish they would have gotten somebody else and then did that for this. But hey, it
Yeah.
whatever.
As soon as he gets the prime ability, he should not sound like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. I just think that would have been kind of cooler. Yeah. Eager to make his mark on Cybertronian society, Orion dreams of the two of them being D16 and him, rising above their current station as miners of Energon, the energy source for the planet that has all but evaporated. Meanwhile, D16 is more cautious and fearful of upsetting the status quo, even if it means a life of glamourless servitude. Yeah, so this beginning part to we get kind of an origin of the planet. It explains Primus and the Primes. We see Orion Pax break into a facility to kind of look over these different data history lessons about Cybertron, and maybe to help him or to help him find a clue about where maybe the Matrix leadership is, because that's brought back for this. The Matrix leadership is very important. It's basically what has given them their kind of endless flow of energon, but then it disappeared. So now they're having to mine for it. And we get this really funny moment where he's trying to escape from basically some cops, and he can't transform, so he says, "Oh, I can transform." So he starts to like box himself in as if he's gonna transform, but it's a really quick cut of him turning around and running. Very good. I love the cuts in here. The humor is good in this movie.
I agree. Especially they're very good at drawing people running away, or not drawing, but animating people running away. It's used again later in another very funny way.
Very funny scene. And then we get kind of the established, like, pretty close relationship of Orion and D16, because D16 helps hide him from the cops, and then whenever Orion's trying to talk to him, he gives him a decal sticker of Megatronus Prime, the iconic Decepticon symbol, his head, that he puts on his shoulder, which was actually very sweet. And then this is also too where we see them go into their mining job, where Alita 1 is their manager, and there's an accident, and Jazz is there. They try to he gets stuck, and Orion Pax saves him, but then because of this mine collapsing, Alita gets demoted to waste management. Yeah. I will say too, I love how this film very clearly knows what it's doing with having all these iconic Autobots in the background. Like I said, you see Jazz on their train ride to their mines. You see Wheeljack. You see some other bots I
The
can't think of.
RC multiple times throughout too.
Yeah, you do see RC. Oh, you also see Ratchet and Ironhide as well. Yeah, so continuing on, though neither possesses a cog, the part that allows them to transform, Orion enters them in a celebratory race in hopes of getting seen by Sentinel Prime, the last remaining Prime after his brethren were killed by the ruthless extraterrestrial species, the Quintessons, which, for those who might not know or remember, one of the Quintesson that we have seen was in the original Transformers film. It was the one that could change its face. So that was one of them.
Yeah, if you don't know what he's talking about, Google it. It's very different from the current design that they used in this movie.
Yeah, the Quintessons in this film are much more organic, but they are still mechanical. Yeah, but
They're like octopus creatures.
octopus crab creatures. Yeah. His plan works, but Prime's attention proves short-lived, and they end up on a lower rung of society than before. Oh, the race though that they are doing, it's they call it the Icon 5000 or whatever. Oh yeah, and this this takes place in Iacon City. But they participate in this race, and it's actually pretty cool. But these transformers are getting fucked up. I mean, I know they just can go get repaired, but it's very funny. But whenever they get at the very end of the race and they're about to win, um, it, then they're being cheered on, and they're like, "Oh my god! Like these two miners, like they're so brave, like trying to help each other up." This one transformer just does not give a fuck, busts right through them, and it's just screaming as he goes across the finish line. I don't know how, like, that reminds me of so many people who, like, it reminds me of that bit where, like, where it's like a kid is dying or something, and they're like, oh, let him win the game, or they're playing basketball or something, but like the person just does not care and just demolishes them. It's kind of like the South Park episode where the kids are all playing hockey. They're like 4-year-olds, 4 or 5-year-olds, and but they play against the oh gosh, the Red Wings, the the actual hockey team, and the hockey players do not give a shit and beat the fuck out of these kids, and then they win the game by like a huge margin, and they're just screaming and cheering. That's what it
Yeah,
reminds me of.
it's some great shit. This whole like race segment, I guess I just come to realize like I love a good, I guess, no rules race. For example, we got Red Line, we got Alita. It's not necessarily a race, but that sports ball game, whatever the fuck, I can't remember what it's called.
Ooh, oh, is it not Death Ball or something?
Death Ball, something like that. And this one, I fucking love races like this. I could watch a whole movie that was pure just this because it's so fucking thrilling and badass.
Well, and the thing is too, is like you can like add a bunch of stuff to make it interesting. I mean, that's why Redline was so awesome. They added crazy shit in there. I
The
remember when
fucking
we
nuke baby. Oh man.
the nuke. I remember when we were watching that, we were losing our minds. Colt, especially, because when that nuke baby popped up, that was insane. Yeah, I love a good race. God, we need more like crazy animation of races. There is untapped potential there.
Mappa animate. I guess the Dale Earnhardt tragedy.
That's
You
not
can
what I
make him
meant.
go out like a hero. Make it to where like there was 50 kids that he was saving, and that's how he died.
They've been demoted, and with a fellow social reject B127,
But they
and
were going to be promoted. Darkwing Duck threw him in the pit because he was mad.
yeah, because they messed up Darkwing in the race, which Darkwing has been kind of the bully throughout the movie. Yeah, and then again, Alita 1 had been demoted to waste management. So yeah, in order to redeem themselves, Orion, D16, and their counterparts travel from their home to the surface to try and locate the matrix of leadership. And instead, they discover an elaborate conspiracy that reaches back to the era of the Primes, with repercussions that affect the identities of nearly all Cybertronians. Yeah, so they were able to convince, well, not really convince, they just asked Speed 127, is like, is there any way we can get out of here? Because they found this beacon asking for help from Alpha Trion, and it gives them his last known location. So they escape through their trash chute to get to the trains that go to the surface carrying all of their waste or what have you, and so they sneak aboard. But then whenever they sneak aboard, Alita's there, and she catches them, and the train leaves with them inside of it. So it's kind of like a race to stop her before she can get off or stop the train or whatever. And it's like this pretty crazy train ride of them going up to the surface, and then we get to the surface, and this is where we see a lot of the beautiful animation of the surface from the trailers. It's really good.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in Cybertron, but I love the rock growing just as it's alive.
Well, see, that's what I thought was so cool about this depiction of Cybertron. I know a lot of people, including myself, have been wondering about like a Cybertronian surface, and then also too like life forms, like what does that look like exactly? And something they mention is that Primus, who becomes Cybertron, he transforms into a planet as kind of a sacrifice, and they're mining for energon, and it's just like, well, they're mining into this into Primus, and like, how does that work? And I think it's like an interesting concept of like, since he is a transformer, the surface is constantly changing and shifting and transforming, because that's part of kind of like his godlike power. It's basically like a god turning into a planet, and that's kind of that. And then also too, the energon, it's like the energon that's left over from Primus, from his powers. And I just think it's an interesting like kind of concept there of like, it's all just kind of feeding off of the components of Primus, the environment anyway. Yeah, and then as the surface is shifting, they're on the train, and they see it's kind of like a wave kind of coming towards them. And this is where we get another good running moment, because they're sitting there looking at it, and they're like, what is that? Is it getting bigger? Or maybe it's getting closer. And Bumblebee, taking no time, just runs.
Bumblebee is still my favorite character in Transformers. I say that, and I don't own a single fucking Bumblebee Transformer toy. I need to change that because I fucking love Bumblebee. He's got the best comedy timing.
I would love a Bumblebee figure from his most recent film, or I would like a figure of this Bumblebee. Yeah, no, they I think Keegan Michael Key did a really good job, because I just really enjoy B. He's very chatty, very funny, but then also too, he's like a very trusted warrior. Yeah, I don't know, I love him. And then as he's running too, he ran so early, and he's trying to get to the door on the train, and it's so funny because you hear him whispering like, don't close, don't close, don't close, don't close. Like, it's very good. Yeah, and then they crash, and then they have to make their way on foot. Yeah, so they find Alpha Trion, and this is where it gets revealed that Sentinel Prime is a backstabbing bitch, which is so funny that they do this to him every time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Sentinel wasn't always a backstabbing bitch in some of the Transformers properties. If anybody's listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he was really only did this in the Michael Bay movie and this one. Oh my god! Also, Michael Bay is a producer for this movie. He just cannot.
He just fucking loves Transformers, man.
He just loves Transformers, and I gotta respect it at this point. But yeah. So Sentinel Prime has made a deal with the Quintessence where he gets to basically be the only Prime. He gets to lead, control and lead all Cybertron. While he made and Quintessence, they don't necessarily. Well, yeah, they helped him do a coup, and Arachnid's a part of this, and in doing this, he has to mine energon for them, which is why they're still kind of mechanical, because they still need energon to operate. But yeah, so he helps do this, and then that's also too what he did with a lot of the Cybertronians was he took their cogs, so they can't transform, to create this class, like basically this class distinction where there's those who can transform and those who can't, and then those who can't are meant to be the weaker, so that they're more easily controlled. And then we also see too, Sentinel Prime has his twin blade that he had in also the movie. I do think that's cool that they brought that back.
It looks like a box cutter too. I think it looks pretty sick.
It's so cool. It's basically just two big ass box cutters put together, and it's I don't know. It's one of my favorite weapons. This is where Alpha Trion gives them the sparks of his fallen Prime comrades, so that they can transform now.
And he's like, "Shit, you don't have cogs? What the fuck? Here's the hearts of all my dead friends."
Yeah, it was pretty sick. And I did look up the 12 original primes. So these are the original primes and their names. There's Prima, there's Megatronus Prime, which they show Megatronus Prime in here. Dude looks so awesome. I can see why Megatron loves him because he's the biggest and strongest. Dude looks so fucking sick. So there's Alpha Trion, there's Vector Prime, Nexus Prime, Soulless Prime, Liege Maximo, Alchemist Prime, Amalgamus Prime, Onyx Prime, Micronus Prime, and Quintus Prime.
One of those does not have Prime in the name.
Well, two of those don't have Prime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then Optimus Prime becomes the 13th Prime. Also, should mention, I didn't know that the Fallen in Revenge of the Fallen, that was supposed to be Megatronus Prime.
Yeah, I Googled his name and all I got was Fallen as a pop-up, because I guess that's his only other real pop-up.
Which is so weird because his head does not look like the Decepticon symbol, so I don't really know the connection there, why they did that. So, but yeah. Anyway, those are some awesome names, by the way. Just saying. And then we get this we get the sequence where they have to escape because Sentinel Prime's drones are have located them. They found Alpha Trion. Alpha Trion gets a little battle where he transforms into his Unicorn Panther form. So badass.
Oh yeah, it was fucking awesome.
He rips one of the drones in half, but then he immediately gets attacked by Air Arachnid. And Air Arachnid's only attack, or her most powerful attack, is that she jumps on you and then just starts stabbing you a bunch with her legs. And
I feel like that's very effective, not just with Transformers.
No, I just look, if it was me personally, I would just be like, ow, ow, ooh, ow. Oh, so annoying. Stop.
If it was me personally, I'd probably be like, ah! And then like I'm getting stabbed a lot.
Wow.
I'm surprised that kept up on Discord because I looked at the mic and it stayed.
I heard you. I heard you scream, Colt. So yeah. Yeah, so we get this bit where they're trying to learn to transform. They learn how to transform. Oh gosh, sorry. Before that though, I'm glad everybody's been saying this because I'm one of those people. I love Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. He did an awesome job.
Oh yeah.
There's a scene right here where he's so upset because he's talking about how, if they stuck by protocol, if they did what they were told, they wouldn't be in this mess. He didn't want to know this or whatever. And they're like, well, what do you want to do, man? Like, what are you gonna do? And he just admits, like, he's not necessarily given up. He just says, like, I want to kill Sentinel Prime. I want to kill him. It's like very angry, so emotional, so good, where he says he wants to kill him. He wants to parade his dead body around the mines to, as punishment, to show like what happens, it's just so good. And then it was so funny because when he says this, Colt immediately puts his fist up to me and we fist bump because I agree.
Yeah, kill Sentinel Prime. He's a fucking, like, I feel like one of the most evil people in Transformers.
He is so evil. Like, I mean, he's the fucking rich, like the controlling rich. Like, that's what he is. Like, he stripped people of their autonomy. They even say that in the movie. They lost their autonomy because of Sentinel Prime. Yeah. So I was like completely understandable. Kill Sentinel Prime. So yeah. So they're trying to make their way back to Iacon City. Alpha Trion does give them evidence to use against Sentinel Prime to help unite Cybertron against Sentinel. And on their way, they're captured by some very familiar Transformers. At the moment, they're currently known as the Cybertronian High Guard. They were specifically the protectors along with the Primes, or they would help assist the Primes in protecting Cybertron. They're basically playing the same role that the drones play for Sentinel Prime, but these guys aren't drones. But most
Did
of them
they call them the High Guard because of like they're flying, or because they're guarding the leaders? Or is it like a double thing going on there?
I didn't think about that, but you're right. I think it's for both. I think it's because they're all flyers, and it's because they're the highest possible like royal, like special elite royal guard. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a double meaning there. Yeah, no, they're all fighter jets, and the one who leads them, the leader of the high guard, is Steve Buscemi.
Yup, Steve Buscemi's here, and his transformer has the most fucked up eyes you've ever seen.
Starscream has fucked up eyes.
No, I'm saying Steve Buscemi is in
Oh,
the
wow.
movie.
Wow, you're so mean.
Oh my gosh.
So Starscream is the leader of the High Guard. I love Steve Buscemi as Starscream.
Yeah, he's
Um,
great.
he's great. Shockwave and Soundwave are basically his lieutenants, and we see a bunch of other kind of other background bots, but also some Decepticons that we see with names. We see Thundercracker. We see the other Starscream lookalike. There's also the freaking There's also the Jets. They have pinheads. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, they have pinheads.
Got a pinhead transformer. I just can't remember his name. He's purple.
So they're there, but most of them are kind of like different variations of Starscream and those pinhead guys, but that's because they're all jets, and they're all like Colt said, they're all, or like we said, they're guards. But yeah, and then we get kind of a battle between Starscream, and Megatron. Oh god, there's also a funny bit where Shockwave and Soundwave were talking about how they had to tape Bumblebee's mouth shut, and Alita was like, even while he was knocked out, and Shockwave was like, especially while he was knocked out, he wouldn't stop talking. And it was very funny. Um and uh and then, yeah, like I said, there's a fight between them. This is also how Starscream's voice box gets damaged, so now he has a more screechier voice. I wish they didn't do that. I know they did that to harken back to the original. I wish they didn't do that, because I think Steve Buscemi's voice as Starscream was actually pretty damn cool.
They did it. They had to. I feel like they could have done it a different way, because the final voice he has, it doesn't really give me Starscream.
It doesn't. That's the thing, is it doesn't really give a Starscream. It just sounds distorted. Starscream just has a high pitched voice, but I love this kind of oh gosh, I don't know what to call it. Steve Buscemi's voice for this is more kind of I want to say, like, it kind of reminds me of Boardwalk. If anybody's seen Boardwalk Empire. But yeah, no, I love Steve Buscemi's voice for Starscream. He felt kind of like mob boss ish.
My Babish.
Yeah. But yeah, they fight, and then Megatron is able to unite the Cybertronian High Guard with him. And but then they get attacked by Arachnid, and she takes Megatron, she takes Bumblebee, and then she takes like half of the Cybertronian High Guard. So so they're left with Shockwave and Soundwave, and so then they make a plan to go back to Iacon. Alito takes Shockwave and Soundwave and the High Guard with her on the train, and then Orion goes to the mines to get all the miners to unite with him to support, or basically High Guard and them be the army to stop Sentinel. But yeah, and then this is also too where we see a lot more of the more notable faces again. As we mentioned before, RC, Jazz, Wheeljack, Ironhide. Oh gosh, there were other ones. Sideswipe, and others. And this is also too where we get an iconic Optimus Prime speech. Again, Chris Hemsworth is fine. Right here. We get scenes where Central Prime has all of his prisoners, and this is where he's pretty much going to execute them. Megatron doesn't really care for his shit anymore, but Sentinel sees that he has Megatronus's Prime's decal, so he decides he's gonna take
Like a
basically like
welding torch or something. No,
welding torch
it's something.
and basically kind of like brand him on his chest with the Megatronus symbol.
But he
But then
fucked it
also
up. It's botched. It's bad.
it's so bad, it's so bad. Which he kind of it's even worse. But then he also reveals that he also took Megatronus's spark. So that was a pretty big hit for Megatron as well. Alita 1 takes the train and bashes it right through the fucking building, and this is where we get a fight. Orion Pax gets all the miners with their jetpacks to come up and support them, and it's just a big fight in this room.
I will
Where
say that train is super sick. I love the whole placing the track out in front of you. So there's like no set track. They had to make it this way because of the surface of Cybertron changing and growing. You can't have a set track. But it's also funny that this movie came out when it did. And like the moment right before the train interacts with the building, someone says behind you, the train is going to hit the tower. A little close to 9/11, train 9/11, Transformer 9/11. There we go.
I didn't think about that. I should mention this actually premiered in Sydney, Australia, on September 11th.
Oh fuck.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't an Australian problem, but I just like the connections here are pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, stay woke. Hollywood's mocking us.
But and then Soundwave is so cool because he does a bit where he scans them, and he's like he can tell when people are lying. Whenever they get into the building, she tells him Soundwave release the prisoners. So he goes around and like undoes all the prisoners' bindings. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll talk about this. Like, I don't know, like this whole interaction, seeing the origins and interaction like with Autobots and the Decepticons before they become this, and them like working together, I was really relishing. So like I wish we got more screen time with that, because I don't know, I just think it's so cool. It's like Autobots and Decepticons before like just working together, like these interactions. I don't know, I just love it.
It does suck though that we didn't get to see little baby Soundwave. I can't remember its name.
You mean all of his cassettes?
Yes, I want to see his little babies.
Yeah, I do wish we got to see them. Ravage, Frenzy, Rumble, Laserbeak. That's it. But yeah, I wish we could have seen them. But yeah, so there's this whole fight. Gosh, Megatron has to basically keep Sentinel Prime busy while Orion, Alita, and Bumblebee get Arachnid, which Alita does have like a big fight with Arachnid, and it's pretty cool, where they're basically just flying through the fucking city, and whenever she does beat Arachnid, she takes one of her legs and just starts beating the shit out of her.
Yeah,
and,
she just straight up rips off a leg, and while fucking Optimus is like, "Don't kill her, don't break her."
Yeah, he said, "Don't break her," and she's like, "I didn't break her. Like, she's just beating the shit out of her with her leg." Because, like, like I said, I get it. The thing with her, like, attacking with all her legs, like, it's just annoying. Don't, like, obviously, it's powerful, but it's just annoying. So, so yeah, they get her. They take her to a broadcasting station because she reveals that she has a lot of eyes, and she recorded all of Sentinel Prime's interactions, him revealing the truth about what he did. So they broadcast that across all of AYCH, across all of Cybertron, so everybody knows. And yeah, and then there's this Megatron is able to defeat Sentinel, but Optimus tries to stop Megatron because he wants to kill Sentinel, but he doesn't want to he doesn't want to rebuild everything on an execution. And then of course Megatron's cannon is as powerful as it is usually, and he tries to blast Sentinel and he blasts right through Optimus. It's pretty brutal. Like half of Optimus is gone. He basically just turned into Toji from JJK.
Yeah, he did, but instead of like being alive, I think he was instantly dead.
Well, yeah, and then he's falling. Megatron grabs him and he's like, he's having this moment where he's like, why'd you do that? And uh, Optimus is trying to appeal to him, trying to say like, we like, why can't we rebuild this? We could have rebuilt this city better. We could have done so much. But then this is where he turns fully into Megatron, and his eyes even change red, and he's just like, he's like, I'm done saving you. So he lets him go into the abyss of Cybertron, and we get this parallel of it's like Optimus Prime is falling while Megatron is rising, but it's like reversed, where Megatron is falling, or D16 is falling, becoming Megatron, and Optimus Prime, while he's literally falling, he's also rising. He rips Sentinel
Like this
Prime.
is like Optimus Prime falling to heaven, kind of, because the center is where all the souls are.
Yeah, this is where Primus reveals that he has chosen Optimus to be the next Prime. He gives him the Matrix of Leadership. It's this very, very cool, kind of haunting sequence where the inner layers of Cybertron are like changing. We get this very focused shot of Orion's dead body as it's floating, like he's dead. No color whatsoever, and yeah, I was trying to tell Cole, it reminds me of a scene from another film with like a horror film where we get this like our subject is like focused on the camera, stagnant, not moving, while the background's moving. I mean, that's a common shot, but anyway, it's very cool. Megatron, like I said, rips Sentinel Prime in half. It's brutal, but it's deserved. Sentinel Prime deserved that. And then he takes Sentinel Prime's, or he takes Megatron as his spark, puts it inside him. He his cannon changes, so now it's like a triple cannon, but it's still powerful.
It looks sick.
It looks sick. It could shoot faster, more rapid, and this is where he becomes Megatron, and he and the High Guard unites under him. But then this is where Optimus is born. He comes back up. He has the Matrix of Leadership, and so we get like a brief battle between him and Megatron, and we get a battle between him, Starscream, Shockwave, and Soundwave. This is also another interaction I was really excited about, like Legendary Optimus Prime versus the Soundwave and Shockwave and Starscream before they became who they are later. It was very cool. Optimus grabs one of Starscream's missiles and uses it and hits Soundwave in the fucking face with it. It's pretty crazy. And then Optimus Prime reveals his iconic plasma axe. He can shoot it out like a projectile.
It's just throwing plasma. It's badass.
Yeah, he can shoot like projectiles with it. He can use it as a shield. It's very cool. He gets flamethrowers. He uses it's super sick. Oh my god, there was also a really cool scene I forgot where Optimus Prime is fighting one of the Sentinel drones, and he grabs him and he transforms. But when he's transforming, he does it so he can rip it in half. It's so cool. But yeah, he fights Megatron. He breaks one of Megatron's cannons, and then he slices his main cannon in half, and he has him defeated. And he's like, "I don't want to kill you, so I'm just gonna exile you. You can take the High Guard and just you're exiled to the surface. You can't come back to Iacon." So then Energon starts flowing freely, and then this is also too where Primus gives back all the cogs to all the citizens so that everybody can transform. This is where too RC, Jazz, everybody gets their full iconic forms. And then we get a fucking another Optimus Prime speech, but it's done in the style where it's like a message at the very end. But it's a message to the Quintessence where where he's declaring that they will defend Cybertron. They will They will do whatever it takes. This is how the Autobots are formed. That's the end of the movie.
But during this whole fight at the end, there's a scene with Bumblebee where he figures out he has knife hands. And there's a very funny moment where he's meeting up with Optimus. This is before he's Optimus Prime. And he's like, look, I got knife hands. I'm going to go stab these guys. And the two bots behind him are just running away from him as he's like, come back here. I'm going to stab you.
The drones immediately run away. It's very funny.
And then there's another one where he breaks into like a surveillance room. It's like smashing and cutting everything as Optimus Prime walks in. He's like, Bumblebee, what the fuck? What are you doing? These aren't the bad guys.
Alita 1 even says, like, why did you cut up the room?
And he's like, I didn't do that. It was like that before I got here. And then he points his knife hand at the people in the room. He's like, it's right, guys, right.
It was so funny because the entire time he's in this room and he's cutting it. Like, he literally puts his knife hand one end of the room and just runs in a line across the room, cuts up the screens, the controls. I'm thinking, oh my fucking god, how are they gonna broadcast this? And they even they're like, why did you do this? Why did you break down the door? It's very good. Keegan Michael Key and their direction for Bumblebee, I think was very good. And there are two post-credit scene. There's a early credit scene and there's an actual post-credit scene. The first one is Bumblebee going back to his station to talk to his made-up friends because his workstation, he lived there basically, and because he's been so isolated, he took a bunch of junk to make fake friends, and he accidentally cuts off their heads with his knife hands.
And he starts screaming in agony.
And then there's our final post-credit scene, which is the Decepticons on the surface. They are branding themselves with the face of Megatronus, and this is where they declare that they are the Decepticons now. And then
that's it.
And we get this cool shot where it shows his lieutenants all standing together, Starscream, Shockwave, and Soundwave. They look so sick. And yeah, that's it.
I feel like the way they set it up was it wasn't obvious there was going to be another one. I guess they were hiccup waiting to see how this movie performed, and I think it's going to do great. But we'll have to wait till next weekend.
Yeah.
I think we got sequels on the way, especially from what I've read on the wiki.
Yeah, they like I said, actually I don't know if I said that. Did I say that
well, that if you didn't, say it again.
If it performs well, there will be sequels. And I think it will. I couldn't find a budget, but it's projected to make $40 to $50 million on opening weekend. I could see that. Also, too, since this was an early access event, I mean, it was pretty packed for our theaters, and I don't doubt that theaters everywhere else were packed too. So it probably made some fair money for this, and it's gonna, I think it's gonna do well.
So like the responses for this movie are so strange when it comes to critics. You get people, I'm gonna go ahead and lump us in with the people that love it, and then you got people that think it's like the most movie that they've ever seen.
Yeah. So the IGN review came out because with the early access event and the review embargo being lifted. I know a lot of people really hate the IGN review. I do too, because they rated it a 5 out of 10. They praise the voice cast, particularly Henry as Megatron, but they criticize the film. This is where it pisses me off. Rarely shows anything more than meets the eye.
It's an origin story. It's trying to tell new people. It's not trying to tell a new story.
And was mostly content with half-hearted puns and barely legible Cybertronian battles that could have used some major transforming before rolling out. I hate that they use these puns in the fucking review.
Yeah, it feels like somebody was like, "This shit boring. I'm gonna watch Family Guy while watching it." That entire meme.
I was like, I mean, I won't say who wrote the review, but who the fuck wrote this review? Like, did they actually care? Like, I don't know.
And the whole
Very
fucking
weird.
barely legible battles, fuck off. That's the same complaint people use for animation, that they can't follow the fights in anime. They can't understand what's going on, especially with like the latest Demon Slayer episode. I'm sorry. There comes to a point where you just have to realize maybe you're just getting old, or maybe you're just not built for it. Maybe it's a you problem. Because personally, I found everything super easy to follow. Everything's fluid and motion. I get it. I can see it completely. I just don't. I guess it's because it depends on where you come from in your life. I'm someone that's always been playing video games. I'm someone that's always played shooters, and that's something you need to have fast reflexes. You got to have your eyes scanning everything at all times. So I guess it's super easy to follow for me because of my background in media, I guess.
That I was telling Colt this because that was a lot of people I saw complain that they couldn't understand what was happening in the battles. And like Colt said, and like after seeing the movie, I was like, I followed everything. I thought the battles were awesome. They were fluid. They looked sick. So I don't no, I think they're wrong. I'm like, it has to be that, like Colt said, like we got introduced at a young age to video games and to animated stuff. And so in video games, there's a lot of fast moving objects, a lot of hand eye coordination, and I mean that is a fact that that video games train hand eye coordination, and typically there's a faster reaction time when it comes to dealing with situations, and and I and we've adapted to that. So now I mean, we're still young, but now our eyes are adapted to where we can see um things that are happening really fast, and I guess these people are so haven't had that, they're older, and they can't follow what's happening. So I yeah
It just comes
I
down to a you problem. It's not on them. It's not on the creator's part. It's on yours.
yeah, that's my thing. It's like don't get me wrong, obviously you can't help that you can't follow faster stuff like that, but at the same time that's also not on an animation problem. That's like, I mean, really it's a you problem. Like, I'm sorry. It's just kind of like you just kind of have to accept it. We don't have to be like, oh, like be angry at you or anything, but at the same time it's just like, you can't if you can't keep up with it, you can't keep up with it, and that's okay. But that also means you can't really negatively criticize something that isn't its fault, because the rest of us can understand what's happening. I'm not saying we're gods, but
Just saying that your reign is over.
yeah, it's time to let the new gods reign. I mean, hell, you guys weren't even gods in the first place. You were just a bunch of
You're a
poor.
stepping stone in my progression through life.
You're just nothing but powerless kings and queens.
Someone put some funk in here. I'm gonna do some poses. I'm gonna be like Le Badass Mog Mewing, Ohio. No, Ohio.
But no, seriously. Yeah, the animation was gorgeous. I think this is one of the most this is 3D animation, but it's one of the most unique this year. This is one of the best animated films this year. Voice cast was incredible. Again, I'm still weird about Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's the
I don't
only
know.
one that was. It's just Thor, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this is an origin story. It's a mishmash of a lot of them, but no, it's good. Like I said, I want more Transformers. This has been the first feature film in forever, and now I need more. We need more Transformers animated films. Shows are good too, but I would very much like more films. And yeah.
Now, if I had to give this movie a rating, I guess I would have to say it's a 4.5 out of 5. Like, I think it does a great job of like introducing the Transformers stuff I never really had any prequel history with Transformers. All I know is like bare bones stuff. So this stuff is super cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad. That's what I was most excited for, was to see somebody like you who had no background seeing this, but also too like it's kind of a fresh take for me, and see how like I said, I was very excited to see how these interactions and then how they would do it. Yeah. And then I give it a 4.5 out of 5 as well. And I only do that too because I wish there was more screen time for Starscream, Shockwave, and Soundwave. And again, I'm weirded by Chris Hemsworth, and there was some kind of silliness. I was just like, oh, okay, that's fine. So yeah, I give it that. Still very good.
Very excited for the next one. I hope there is another one. I need to see some I want to get to the point where we see Devastator, because I want to see how huge he is in comparison. But I don't know when or how he could be in here.
Well, see, there's so much they can do. See, if they are setting this up as a franchise, there's so much they could do. Or sorry, not a franchise, a trilogy. I mean, the Constructicons would be miners, since they have miners, or they have a construction unit. So I mean, the Constructicons could sympathize with the Decepticons and defect. Who knows? There's a bunch of stuff they could do. I was telling Colt this, and I've said this everywhere, is give me Beast Force. Redo Beast Force. You know what? I don't like, it'd be cool if they did a show, but I will gladly take a film. Do a Beast Wars remake of the original show, then do films of The Gathering and The Ascending. Those are the comics. Then do a fourth film about the trans metal stuff. I can't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, where they go back to Cybertron. I want those. Please give those to me. We need to go back to Beast Wars. It's so cool. The animal stuff is so cool. Dinosaurs. Come on. But yeah.
I want to experience Beast Wars, but I don't want to watch it in its current form because it looks ugly.
I I understand. I tried to go back to watch it, and you know, I can't handle it anymore. I love it to death, but I can't handle I can't handle it. That's why I really believe in a remake. Either do it in this style, or like any cool, maybe experimental animation style. I don't know, just something.
I agree.
But
check it out. Please go watch this Transformers movie. I want more people to watch it so that they can understand the love of Transformers, and so I can get more.
Yeah. But I guess if that's all, thank you for listening to us. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there. We are the AllYouCanHear podcast. Follow us on Twitter at AYCH podcast. Leave us a review, any feedback, subscribe to us, whatever. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out. Follow Backlog Boys Pod, follow Cage and Greatness, follow the instruction booklet. Go follow all the pods under our umbrella. They're all great, I promise. Go follow us on Blue Sky, aychpodcast.bsky.social. Follow us on Instagram at aychpodcast. Follow us on twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. And all of our VODs from there are on our YouTube, All You Can Hear, as well as these episodes and the instruction booklets. Streams as well. Follow me, Wenzel, on Twitter at WenzelWilkie. Follow my art Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky as WordOfWenzy, and then follow my Bookstagram, Wenzel Banters. My link tree has links for everything, including my letterbox and my Goodreads.
My name is Colt. Follow me on Twitter at ColtD00, Blue Sky, ColtD99. This is Optimus Shart Colt. This is a message to anyone out there. Bring wet wipes. And then that's when Linkin Park starts to play.
That's when Linkin Park starts playing.
I love you.